Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise. Greetings, free people. Greetings. I have a court date coming up sometime in November. I have ascertained that specific date. This is the very same traffic. Very same traffic court. Each and every time we go to court, because of their legal process, it's been one charade in my experience. And I've placed a bunch of documents there within their court, giving them notice, giving them information, just in case you might not have information. However, here we are. So as per usual, I like the counsel. So with a step of time on put together this document. I'm not take credit like, yeah, I'm some brain box. No, all information are the same out there. It's just a style and your comprehension, really. But for this document, we have some more English side, give us a narrative. And for that, me have to give credit to my good brother over there on that side, Travis. Complete gratitude, my good brother. It says, without prejudice, all fundamental rights reserved. Record number, location. In the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. And we have the Judiciary Act, meaning you can discard my writ for lack of form. A writ of affidavit of facts and law. Notice to amend the record. Notice of letter of appointment. Case of reference. CA 2019. This is from 2019. Traffic TR 16143-48. I think the last time I was in court, I hear this prosecutor Wilson saying they probably dropped some other one of those charges. I don't know which one it was. All of those things are irrelevant. You have no jurisdiction, you have no authority, none whatsoever. And we're going to demonstrate that. Fundamental right of movement pursuant to Section 13, subsection 2F, 2 of the Constitution, as amended 2011. So usually we ask the right to travel. In our documents here on the island, it's a right of movement. 4. And upon the record, Linton O'Neill of the House of Dallas, principal and beneficiary over the Cestui KV, Linton O'Neill Dallas, and that's the number, aka Linton Dallas, of the location there, Jamaica Commonwealth. I might put Jamaica West Indies, yes. Put Jamaica West Indies, because that will still place me in the Commonwealth. Or should I put West Indian? As per the official use by these corporate government. That can work. make this oath and depose this live life claim or proof of life claim by these facts of law. Yeah, Jamaica, West Indies, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that is the de jure area. Yeah, make this oath and depose this live life claim or proof of life claim by these facts and laws. One, we are hereby special appearance. I think I need to fix. We are hereby special appearance personally because of a matter concerning our personal estate and trust. Salute, Travis. We hereby provide you with notice that we are living and not dead or lost at sea, and there is no written letter of consent nor letter of administration here vested to administer the Cestui KV Lincoln dollars associated with this matter for case number CA 2019 TR 161443-48. We deny all claims of jurisdiction or authority and demand an immediate dismissal of this administrative proceedings and the full restoration of all properties along with proper compensation pursuant to the Protection of Property Rights, Section 15(1) Constitution as amended 2011. Number two, we hereby appoint as trustee the judge in action, defender of the bond, along with the clerk of court and prosecutor. Be now informed and be with knowledge that the Cestui KV Linton Dallas or raised house seal and red thumbprint seal shall upon proof in any action to be brought for recovery of the same be made appear to be living and not dead or lost at sea. We, in our legal capacity and standing as sovereign and sole beneficiaries of the trust and estate, hereby confers power to the judge in action, defender of the bond, to remedy this matter forthwith, pursuant to Code of Common Law, Cestui KV Act 1666, the very same Act 1707, Constitutional Reform Act 2005, Schedule 4, are the functions of the Lord Chancellor and organization of the courts, Section 6. Any reference to the Lord Chancellor and Keeper or Commissioners for the custody of the Great Seal of Great Britain for the time being in Section 1 of the Cestui KV Act 1707 is to be construed as reference to a judge of the Chancery Division of the High Court. These are just references. Section 49, Senior Courts Act 1981, Concurrent Administration of Law and Equity 1, 2, 3. The rule of equity shall prevail. These are just reference since we are here on the island where they have a monarch and a British crown, and our head of state is over there in the UK, Great Britain. So this is how we have to kind of construct this document. And I say gratitude to my good brother for, this kind of information right here. It's beautiful. We, Cestui KV, Linton Dallas, inform and declare for the judge in action that we have returned from beyond the seas and no longer absent from the land. that all fraudulent misrepresentations and other false presumptions cease and desist, and our title be revested and made whole as we seek to recover our losses and all tenements with profits and interest. Here, we'll have to have a discussion. Most people, because of the template form, would say we collapse the trust and all of these things. I have no interest in doing that. This is my hereditament. This is where my birthright is. You know what I mean? So I won't collapse anything. This is mine. We just choose to take control of our own affair. It's no more abundant. You know what I mean? And when I need no one to administer our estate while we're here. And this is proof that the whole court charade as it is. It's a probate system because they can only deal with the Cestui KV, either say instrument or the juristic person or that Linton O'Neill Dallas with that identification or identifiers number attached to it. That's all they can interface with. So this is where we make our claim and say this is our stuff. Yeah, man. And we are take it from all the way back from 1666. We now start with too much of this new thing. We are reclaim everything. This is why we establish our house. We, Cestui KV Linton Dallas, number 4, in our legal capacity and standing as sovereign and sole beneficiary of the trust and estate, hereby confers power to the judge in action, defender of the bond, to amend all record to reflect the unrebutted facts provided forthwith, in order to show good faith in this matter and an ethical desire to verify information and make the amendments upon the principal and beneficiary's presentment of this certified affidavit and notice of the information required to be amended. Records should be amended within 3 business days of receiving this notice. Number 5. And on and for the record, the Chief Justice and the Deputy Keeper of Records are hereby given notice that they must keep accurate records and does not have the consent or does not have the beneficiaries' consent to access the trust or to permit records to remain in error. All records must be amended within 3 business days of receiving this notice, and a copy of this writ of affidavit is to be placed on the public record as sworn statement in regards to all matters, including but not limited to case number CA 2019 TR 161443-48. Number 6. We, Cestui KV Linton Dallas, certified that a true copy of the foregoing was presented to the known location of all parties, including but not limited to the appointed trustees by hand, email, and registered mail service at the location last known, that's the Kingston and St. Anthony Parish Court. Number 7. On and for the record, we, Cestui KV Linton Dallas, being duly sworn, hereby inform and declare ourselves to be West Indians or Amerindians or American Indians, specifically Awak Indians, but not a citizen of Jamaica or a citizen of the United States. Furthermore, a copy of this writ of affidavit shall be placed on the public record for posterity. Certification, Honorable Justice of the Peace, and we say gratitude. So this is a document where shall be placed in within this Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court, Traffic Division, And hopefully this should suffice. Notice I'm not trying to embarrass any of my public servants. You notice I don't place RM Simone Maddox name on the document. I don't place Prosecutor Wilson's name on the document. I didn't place Court Clerk Richard James Ayub on the document. Notice I don't list Officer Byron Martindale, Officer Tyrone Walker, or Officer Kirk Weston, or my detective sergeant, my good friend, my good brother, because I know you're an honorable man, Detective Sergeant Kirk Roach, irrespective of your employment. And you did, sir, you did testify in my behalf in the Alpha 3 criminal court way before Chester Crooks chose to give me a psychological evaluation. You went on record, my good brother, Detective Sergeant Kirk Roach, and you expressed to the resident magistrate at the time, it's been so much of them. This is none of the names that I call. I don't even know this brother's name. I saw him once. You did express to him on the public record in the court that this man is not insane. You said, in fact, this man's intelligence, his intellectual level is way, way, way above our heads. This was what you did, and he was very animated in the court. And the court erupted. And this was when the judge again dismissed whatever charges or claims you guys was bringing against my estate. So this has nothing to do with any personal vendetta. As I have stated, plus members of your society choose to arbitrarily confiscate, steal, and withhold my personal property, which is unregistered, which has nothing to do with this specific corporation, this specific company known as the government of Jamaica. We are only here to amend the record and correct some things. And I am of the view that taking this path for me is more appropriate than sitting on the sideline and just talking or taking up some kind of physical arms and weaponry and acting silly. If I was told that the pen is mightier than the sword, then I want to know how to use the pen. That's where my interest is. That's where I want to learn how to use that pen. You know what I mean? That is much mightier than the sword. And if truth is supreme, then that's where I want to place my foundation, truth. And the truth is this: we are a free people and we are a sovereign people. As man and woman, naturally, you're sovereign in your capacity. As man and woman, you're sovereign in your capacity. However, man and woman have free will choices to choose their political affiliation. And by the law of nature, I don't think them necessarily have a choice in where they were born or their birth location. However, the ancestral lineage should suffice. Example, if my mother's is from some other continent or some other hemisphere, and she came on this side, and then that's when I was created, then I have a claim on this side, even though my mother is from that side over there. They would call me a native because I was born here as a native. This is the definition now. Even when my parents are foreign. Some other jurisdiction, it doesn't work like that. It only work like that in our area, in this hemisphere. Everyone come here and they automatically become American, and they're American national, and they're all kind of American. The very same foreigners that come here claiming to be American because their fathers or their mothers came here, and this is where they were, let's say, birth. Then the people that they came here live amongst would eventually be erased. That is what happened when it come on to what is known as our people. Foreigners came here, saw us, and then tell us, hey, this new breed that's coming up, this indigenous breed that's coming up, will replace the aboriginal breed. So the Negroes, with these dark and nappy looking, all variants, light skinned Negroes, will be eventually replaced. And then the imagery of the stringy hair people, that if you type in an hour in any little Google or books, they'll show you images of some people that doesn't look like us, that doesn't originate around here. And when I'm saying that, I'm saying your point of origin is somewhere else, not in this hemisphere. This is what I'm saying. For us here on the rock, here, Jamaica, so-called, this area what they call Caribbean is known as the West Indies now. And before, when Columbus came, they said it was the West Indies. Basic Google search for the common food. And because we do these basic Google search, I can say this to the people out there, remember, let me remind you, we are not credible. The bigger platforms don't use these kind of tools. However, it says here, the West Indies are a sub-region, and sub-region is a part of a larger region or continent and is usually based on location. Cardinal directions, such as south, are commonly used to define the subregions. Hence, subregion of North America. And what is North America? North America is a continent in the northern hemisphere. And listen, when them say continent in the northern hemisphere, that's because them are divided thing. And nothing wrong with that. However, it's showing you that the West Indies are a sub-region of North America. Does that not make us Americans here? Surrounded by the North Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, that includes 13 independent islands and 18 dependencies and other territories in their major archipelagos. In three major archipelagos, the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, and Lucian Archipelago. Now, you have 13 island countries and 18 dependencies. And I think Jamaica is considered one of those island countries who had at least Turk and the Caicos Island and the Cayman Islands. as dependencies of the island of Jamaica. So this is where I'm looking at the British Nationality Act and by extension the 1962 Independence Act, where in Section 3 interpretations, me and a good brother, Chris, salute my brother, Chris. Yeah man, because me I tell you we have some beautiful minds here. Salute my good brother. Yeah man, Chris, and by extension, Sir Eastman. Salute. Yeah man, and Chris did share with me him and our next brother when debate this issue, you know, and then even the idea of Tanzania come up. Because when you check the document, it has a boy Tanzania and Jamaica. My opinion was that Jamaica as a crown nation then, or as a sovereign nation, this is where the British started their construction of them business idea and where they had a trust. So it would be natural for them to go over Africa after or go in certain places in Africa, like Tanzania, which is now known as Tanzania. This is why I tell you, say a lot of these people over there, you know, these people here take them from here and bring them there. And Tanzania, which is Tanzania, was placed as a dependency or placed somewhere within the trust that they hold here on the island. The documents are speaking enough itself. Now, when they say, hey, we get independence in 62, that's when the United Kingdom, Her Majesty, said she had no responsibility for the government of Jamaica. (1962) Yeah, okay, let me see if we can look at this thing. Jamaica Independence Act, 1962. Here we go. See? We are read it. Be it enacted by the Queen's most excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Lord Spiritual. I guess these are the people who snatch your spirit. And the Lord Temporal, these are the people who snatch your body. And the Commons, I guess we'll figure out who these are. My brethren over Britain can talk to them about that. In the present Parliament assembled by the authority of the same as follows. Number one, as from the 6th day of August, 1962, in this act referred to as the appointed date, Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom shall have no responsibility for the government of Jamaica. Now, probably I'm wrong here. Probably what I've just read is an illusion or, a figment or, you know, some kind of, let's say, it's all imaginary. It's not real. But right here, when I mention these things to even some of my public servants, them say nothing like that. And here it is saying, Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom shall have no responsibility for the government of Jamaica. Listen again. Government of Jamaica is separate and distinct from the people of Jamaica, and the people of Jamaica is separate and distinct from Jamaica itself. No act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom passed on or after the appointed day shall extend or be deemed to extend to Jamaica as part of the law thereof. And as from that day, the provisions of the first schedule of this act shall have effect with respect to the legislative powers of Jamaica. Now, legislative power. Remember the time frame that this is in 1962. This is 1962. Remember, if this is the West Indies, I will show where it's a sub-region of North America. And then we can know, sir, in 1776, North America declared independence from the United Kingdom. And this was when we talk about we have fundamental rights and freedom. This was where we say once a government become despotic, we can remove ourselves from that governance. This was in 1776. Now here we are in 1962. 1962. And we can go down further. Here where it says now, as from the appointed day, the British Nationality Act 1948, 1958, these acts were thus back to back, shall have effect as if in subsection 3 of the section 1 of the said act of 1948, which is a British Nationality Act, which provides for persons to be British subjects or Commonwealth citizens by virtue of citizenship of certain countries. For the words and Tanzania, remember we are talking about Tanzania, which evolved now to Tanzania. They were substituted the words, so them are joined up now with Tanzania, which is Tanzania, and Jamaica. Comprehension of this will probably still elude me. But this is why me I said Jamaica, where the first postal location was established, is above Tanzania, way above them. So Tanzania, Jamaica, them the British now, just place Tanzania probably as a dependency of Jamaica on paper, so them can take over Tanzania. You know what I mean? With every corporation, you have to have a de jure entity by which that corporation was created. And I think Jamaica here on this rock is that de jure entity. Start these people off, them come around a Britain and start them thing by way of the Charter of New England, but I think that was more the de facto side. But all of these are speculation. You know what I mean? I'm no expert on no constitution. We just try to make sure we find a place and do it in such a way where others with superior knowledge can aid and say, hey, you're wrong right there, man. Dress up that man, or yeah, you're correct right there. Move with that. However, we still now wait. Because nobody now got teeth for these things. We have to be self-taught. Yeah, man. Subject to the following provision of this section, any person who immediately before the appointed day is a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies shall on that day cease to be such a citizen. Under the law of Jamaica, he becomes on that day a citizen of Jamaica. He, his father, or his father's father was born in Jamaica. So this is a part where, become interesting. Once you move yourself from being a citizen of Jamaica, then you're supposed to fall right back into United Kingdom and colonies. Subsection. Yeah. Subject to subsection 8 of this section, the person shall not cease to be a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies under the last preceding subsection if he, his father, or his father's father was born in the United Kingdom or in a colony or, hey, interesting, interesting. So, my mom that was born here before 1962, that means subject to subsection 8 of this section, a person shall not cease meaning stop. A person shall not stop being a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies under the last preceding subsection, which is all of those, if his father or his mother, watch this now, if his father or his father's father was born in the United Kingdom, that are over there, or in a colony, that is right here. Because before 1962, Jamaica is a colony of the United Kingdom. So it is saying here, if your parents, subject to subsection 8 of this section, a person shall not cease to be a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies under the last preceding subsection if he, his father, or his father's father was born in the United Kingdom or in a colony, or is or was a person naturalized. Now, when a naturalized, we're born in a colony, so it still is a Commonwealth subject, technically. Yeah. Oh, man. And strangely enough, people, me I talk to my mom. I'm gonna talk to her old lady, I mother, and I said, mention the thing about West Indies. And I said, when were you born and thing? And when she tell me, say, she born in a 1952. So me I said, that means, yeah, yeah, you born when here was a British colony making you a British subject. You know what I mean? So now we have to work it out, and boy, me give thanks, me really put up the video and actually I do this. I would do I get some clarity. You know what I mean? I mean I do this for my common folk. Literally I do this for my people and we do not read and write. Because I have a lot of people where I talk about literally no read and write. Not on this level. You know what I mean? Them probably can operate the phone as if they can. But I mean, not on this level. So when me I say we are Commonwealth people, this is the concept where me I take it from. So section 3 I said, irrespective of what one. In other words, even though we have this Independence Act now, it is a choice. It is really a choice because in 1962 when we get independence, them just come with a constitution right away, which resembles the very same 1948 British Nationality Act. So to me, it was our document we called Jamaica Independence Act. This very document was only an amendment of this document. Of this document, which one is it? Of this document, the British Nationality Act of 1948. And this was a law that was in place before Jamaica gained its so-called independence. And if you look at the British Nationality Act here, British nationality by virtue of citizenship, right? That's number one there. This is where we want to be. Part two, citizenship of the United Kingdom and colonies. And part two of the British Nationality Act states, section 4, I guess. Subject to the provision of this section, every person born within the United Kingdom and colonies would include Jamaica, after the commencement of this act shall be a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies by birth, provided that a person shall not be such a citizen by virtue of this section if at the time of his birth his father possesses such immunity from suit and legal process as is accorded to an envoy of a foreign sovereign, power accredited to his majesty, and is not a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies, or his father is an enemy alien, and the birth occurs in a place then under occupation by the enemy. So we not really have to go too far. So we just work with right here. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. You're a citizen by birth just by this act. And then we get back to 1962 now, where them say, yes, you guys are free, and everybody celebrate and say, yep, independence, we are the own thing. However, in this section, it said, as from the appointed day, the British Nationality Act 1948, that's the one I just showed you. I forgot to bring up the 1958 one. Shall have effect as if in subsection 3 of section 1 of the said Act of 1948, which provides for persons to be British subjects or Commonwealth citizens by virtue of citizenship of certain countries. For the words, and Tanzania, were substituted. Okay, so originally, them did have a structure like this for Tanzania. So now them add Jamaica and Tanzania to it. Okay, okay, little clarity. So by virtue of citizen of certain country, Tanzania and Jamaica. Tanzania, we can say now, and Jamaica. Tanzania name change, so it's a whole different thing. Now I mean, British totally control them places. Just like how them have a stronghold on this place. Now, let me see, subsection 3. Let's go down to subsection 3 where we have interpretation. Let me see if anything may have missed right here since we are here. Subsection 8, I say. Any reference in subsection 3 or subsection 4 of this section to a colony, protectorate, or protected state shall, subject to the next following subsection, be construed as a reference to the territory which is a colony, protectorate, or protected state on the appointed date. And the said subsection 3 shall not apply to a person by virtue of any certificate of naturalization granted or registration effected by the governor or the governor of a territory outside the United Kingdom, which is not a colony. Well, this not apply to us. Yeah, them not apply to us. Forgive me if me I miss anything, the brainiacs out there can just touch base back with me and say, yeah, we missed the part there and the part there essential. All right, let me see what Tenor said. Part 3 of the British Nationality Act of 1948, which contains supplemental provision, shall have effect for the purpose of subsection 2. All right, and then I'm going to read part 3. Now we are going to section 3. Notwithstanding anything in the interpretation Act 1889, the expression colony 18, look at the timeline, 89. The expression colony in any act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom passed on or after the appointed day shall not include Jamaica. Let me repeat that. Notwithstanding anything in the Interpretation Act 1889, the expression colony in any act of Parliament of the United Kingdom passed on or after the appointed day shall not include Jamaica. As from the appointed day, the expression colony in the Army Act 1955, the Air Force Act 1955, and the Naval Discipline Act 1957 shall not include Jamaica. In the definitions of Commonwealth forces in subsection 1 of subsection 225 and section 1 of section 223 respectively of said Act of 1955, and in the definition of Commonwealth country in subsection 1 of section 135 of said Act of 1957, for the words or Tanzania, there shall be substituted the word Tanzania or Jamaica. No order in council made on or after the appointed day under section 1 of the Army and Air Force Act 1961 shall operate to continue either the said Act of 1955 in force as part of the law of Jamaica. So this is what we talk about. We are saying, hold on. What's going on? In this act and in any amendment made by this act in any other enactment, Jamaica includes the islands known as the Moran Keys and the Pedro Keys and any other territory which at the passing of this act are dependency or are dependencies of the colony of Jamaica, but does not include the Cayman Island or Turks and Caicos Island, and in any act of Parliament of the United Kingdom passed after the passing of this act, and in any instrument made after the passing of this act by virtue of any act of Parliament of the United Kingdom, whenever passed, the expression Jamaica shall be taken to have the same meaning in this act unless a contrary intention is expressed in that act or instrument, as the case may be. Why these legalese are interested. So people, this is how them wrap up our ancestors. You understand? So when all these maroons out there in a St. Elizabeth talk about them signed treaty, with this United Kingdom. I want to know which one of the Maroon them put any mark on anything without scrutinize this document like this. You know what I mean? Because right here, you have a choice to either be free or you can choose to go align yourself with whomever you choose. So this is why you hear we are say all of what we are talking about. And this is why we go back to what is known as the West Indies. I'm saying we are Indians here, originally the Negroes. Apply to the Negroes. You know what I mean? And then we probably can Indo-Caribbean. The West Indies is what them are called Caribbean now. Indians are the national and citizens of India, the second most populous nation in the world, containing 17.50% of the world's population in India. The term India refers to nationality rather than a particular ethnic or language. The Indian nationality consists of dozens of regional ethno-linguistic groups, all right? So these India and Indian, where them derive from. Indo-Caribbean may also be referred to as East Indian. Again, Indo-Caribbean as East Indian, East Indian, West Indians, Hindustani, Hindustani. Me I tell us that these so-called Indians are usurp our thing, because they are really Hindu, Hind. You get me? What's this now? Hindustani. Okay, another name for India is a Persian name for North India. Broadly, the Indian subcontinent, which later become used by the inhabitants in Hindi. Yeah, man. So when you hear we are talking about some of them Indian that came here, see, Indian people in the Caribbean who are descendants of the Jahaji, Indian indentured workers. Indian indenture system was a system of indentured servitude by which more than 1 million Indians, Hindus these, were transported to labor in European colonies as a substitute for slave labor. As a substitute for slave labor, following the abolition of the trade in the early 19th century. The system expanded after the abolition of slavery in the British Empire. So this is what me are telling the people. So you see the same Indian word where you say we are take on, and them come and give it to us first and fix it in them laws. So when them look and say, boy, we're going to secure because Indian attacks, this is our place. But the Hindus, Hindu, which are on these islands here, these are the people where you serve. And by extension, you know what I mean, other foreigners. So the same Caribbean is what we call the West Indies. You know what I mean? Very same Caribbean. Now remember, we are talking about now 1900. So from 1400, before the 1400, most of these people weren't here. We see them called Caribbean was called Arawak Chief Domain. Yeah, man. soon bring them information the forward. Our chief them in. This is what them are called Caribbean. And why would they call it West Indies? Because when them come and them form East Indian Company and all of these West all of these companies. And we the American, who them know as American, them have to, divide us in order to conquer us. And that's just what they did. So these are just basic search, basic look for common people, the simple people. You know what I mean? The unrecognized people, the unregistered people, our common folk, but most other people will discredit only because we are established in our own society and we are not a part of any secret organization with no kind of foreign political backing or influence. On today's date, 16 September 2021, when I was born, 16 September 1971, people, that is half a century. And I can't believe I'm here. Because I remember my people and tell me, say, boy, you're dead before you turn 13. And probably every ghetto youth might go through them thing there. When them kind of I grew up as a little boy and active always, I probably run up and down and play. So them probably say you're rude. But here I am, 16 September 2021. And I manifest myself here, 16 September 1971. So I say gratitude for this existence. Yeah, man. Gratitude for this existence. And when I place this writ of affidavit of fact within this system, because I'm going to go to the traffic court, to the main office at South Camp Road and make sure I get this document filed down. Then I'm going to make sure I register mail this document to the court. You understand? Then I'm going to make sure I email this document to the court. Then I'm going to place this document on the public record for posterity. And this very specific document where I address that juristic person, that Cestui KV, should set precedent going forward. So I must say gratitude to my good brother Travis over there on the British side. I mean, yeah, man. And by extension, we have to say gratitude to a lot of folks out there in YouTube world. We learn from a whole bunch of different platforms. Whole bunch of different platforms, including some of the platforms where we probably were kind of go at. Yeah, man. Platform what we learned from many, many years ago is Ian. Brother might be a little bit goofy, as people would say, but he's a genius. And I've learned how to separate people's personal life from what they try to bring forward in the public. And as such, I have to give this brother Ian a lot of respect, even though most of the time they say he's on the wrong side of the issue, only because he's deep inside the belly of the beast. I try to prove some points. But I've learned a lot from Ian. Yeah, man. We'd have a long time site named Ukeda. Learns a lot from them site. But when we really get the breakthrough from is a lady named Tammy Pepperman. When I start listening to Tommy Pepperman, I said, wow, and this was years ago. And then David Windmiller them bring forward some information. This is before Mark Christopher say Madu way Madu. I have to salute Mark Christopher for his effort, but I learned this thing from David Windmiller and Russell Gould. You know what I mean? Mark Christopher was in the class when I was learning at the time. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of platform where we can say salute and give credit to or really learn from. A lot of them now I remember. Bill Turner them still I learn from Bill Turner. Australian them. You know what I mean? New Zealander them. This system here permeate the whole earth. Learn a lot from a lot of different platforms and a lot of different people. I would say gratitude. Now we have a lot of Mickey Mouse people out there where a straight business them a deal with. Them just want to learn something so them can create a business and them not have a clue them really are do. Call them Mickey Mouse. You have a next set of people where them do absolutely nothing at all more than them just talk a bunch of mess. And when you check them credibility, there is none. You call them the Mickey Mouse. You have a next set where them just stay in the shadows. And them study and them learn and them will learn from all you and learn from your mistake and then them go present themselves as if they are great. Mickey Mouse them that too. Then you have some true warriors where out there step up and them not really have all the information but them make them step. Now warriors like those me salute, especially when them I use them intellect and them must stay lawful and them must stay correct and them must look for amend things, not for really disrupt or destroy things. Come on. When we learn how to mind our own business, we probably can find some success in the things that we start to do. Because we were taught mind everybody else's business, we find ourselves in a problem because somebody else have to take care of our business while we are mind other people's business. And what is your business? Your business is attached to your birth certificate. You have to learn how to take control over that Cestui entity. Right now, me I present a document with going to be earth shattering for some. You know what I mean? And for others, it's just another piece of paper and a man at all. So it's a step-by-step process. To each his own. I said this, we'll never stop, never give up, and we'll never give in. The brave may fall, but never yield. The brave may fall, but never yield. A walk Indian nation in America, this specific society. Bold and brave, firm and strong. We can only address the free people. And this is how we are choose to free the unfree people. Because it starts with a concept, an idea. It starts within. You won't attain anything they are trying to gain by looking outside. It all start within and manifest out. So it's a gratitude for the time, gratitude for the patience, and again, the bright people and the exceptional people out here. Just forgive us, while we are take our baby steps. You know what I mean? This is how I choose to try to elevate my common people because we are hurt in all different aspects and areas. And we have all kind of people that do for them part. So probably this is my little niche and this is my part. You know what I mean? So forgive the intrusions if it seemed that way. Yeah, man. But we are here to remove the illusions and amend the records, set the records straight. So as such, we say salute, complete gratitude, and it is our honor. Salute.